Hello and welcome. Have you ever wondered how some companies, they just seem to know exactly what you want to buy? Or how your music app somehow suggests that perfect song for your mood? Well, the secret, it's all in how they talk to their data. And today, we're going to learn that language. It's called SQL, and I promise you, by the end of our time together, you'll see it is much, much simpler than it sounds. So let's get started.
Now, look at this sentence. The right question, asked of the right data at the right time, can change everything. This is really the whole idea, isn't it? Just imagine for a moment you had a superpower that lets you find the one exact answer you need from, say, a huge mountain of information. That, my friends, is the power of data, and today we are going to learn how to unlock it.
So here's what we'll be covering. First, we'll ask, what even is SQL? Then we'll meet our data librarian. After that, we'll see how to speak its simple language. We'll also look at SQL in the real world. And finally, we'll touch on SQL's new AI interpreter, a very interesting topic.
Okay, let's jump right into our first section. What is SQL? And more importantly, how do you say it? Let's clear that up first. You can say SQL, just like a movie sequel, or you can say the letters SQL. Honestly, both are perfectly correct, so you really can't go wrong.
At its very heart, SQL is simply the language that helps you talk to databases. I want you to think of it like this. On one side, you have a question, just a simple question in your mind. And on the other side, there's this huge vault full of data that has the answer. So what SQL does, it acts as the bridge. It's the bridge that connects your question directly to that answer. It is a special language built for just one thing, to have a proper conversation with data.
Okay, so to make this idea even clearer, let's try something. For a minute, let's just forget about computers and code. Instead, I want you to think of SQL as a person. A very efficient, very helpful person with a very specific job. Let's call this person our data librarian. So picture this. You walk into a massive, massive library. There are millions of books, rows and rows of them. It's a bit overwhelming, right? But then you just walk up to the librarian and you say, I need this one specific book. And poof, in just a few minutes, they find it for you. Well, SQL is exactly like that librarian. But instead of books, it's for data. It knows how to navigate all that chaos to bring you the exact piece of information you asked for. So what is this library we keep talking about? What is a database? Well, the simplest way to think about it is like a huge, super organized digital filing cabinet. That's all it is. And inside this cabinet, all the information is arranged very neatly into different sections, which in the data world we call tables. And look, we are not talking about a simple spreadsheet on your computer. We are talking about the massive, massive scale of data. Think about companies like Netflix or Amazon and the amount of information they handle every single second. All right, so at this point, you're probably thinking, okay, this sounds complicated. Speaking to a database must be very difficult. But here's the good news. The language of SQL, it's actually surprisingly logical. And you'll see it's really not that different from plain English. Let me show you what I mean.
Let's take a very common business question. Imagine you want to know, show me all the customers who bought something from us last month, right? It's a simple, direct request. You'd ask it just like that in English. Now, how would our helpful data librarian, our SQL, understand this? And here it is. This is what that same question looks like in the SQL language. Just take a look. Can you see the similarity? It's not just a bunch of random symbols, is it? It's a logical, structured sentence. This is the exact, precise instruction our data librarian needs to go and find the correct information for us. So let's just break that down very quickly. The first word, select, that's basically you saying, show me. In our case, show me the names. The second part, from, tells SQL where to look. So look in the customer's table. And the third part, where, is your condition, your filter. So only show me the ones who bought something last month. See how logical that is? It's always the same flow. What do you want? Where should I look? And which specific ones do you need? Okay, so this isn't just some classroom theory. SQL is a real workhorse. I mean, it is used every single day all over the world, from your local neighborhood shop all the way up to global giants. So let's look at a few examples of that. Now, one important thing to understand is that SQL isn't just one single tool. It has different flavors, or cousins, you could say, for different kinds of jobs. For example, for a small website or a shop, you might use something called MySQL. Think of it like a good, reliable bicycle. It gets the job done perfectly. But for a huge company that's analyzing billions and billions of records, well, you're going to need a jet engine, and that's something like BigQuery.
The really cool part is the language you speak is basically the same. It's just the power and the scale of the engine that's different. So who is actually using this every day? Well, think about a marketing manager. With a simple question, they can find out which email campaign is bringing in the most sales. Or imagine a hospital administrator. They can look at patient visit data to plan their staff schedules more effectively. Even a teacher in a school can use this to quickly identify which students might need a little bit of extra help. You see, the applications, they are truly everywhere.
And now we come to a very modern, very exciting part of this story. Because if you are still a little bit worried about having to memorize all these commands, well, technology now has a brand new answer for you. And it's making these data conversations even easier.
Yes, I'm talking about generative AI. It is really changing the game here. The best way to think about it is like having your own personal interpreter. You can just ask your question in your normal, plain English, and the AI will translate it into the perfect SQL code for you. What this means is that it has never, ever been easier to get started talking to data.
And it's not just about translation. The AI acts like a really smart assistant. For example, it can spot patterns in the data that you might have missed completely. It can even suggest new questions that you should be asking. And, very importantly, it can add safety guardrails. That means it helps prevent you from making a big mistake, like, say, accidentally deleting a whole lot of important data. So, and this is the crucial point, AI enhances your own abilities. It does not replace them.
So, when you strip everything else away, this is the fundamental promise of SQL. It's not here to confuse you or make things complicated. Its entire purpose, its reason to exist, is to give you that superpower we talked about. The superpower to get instant, accurate answers directly from a huge sea of data.
And please, I really want you to take this one thought away with you. To start using this power, you do not need to be a technical expert, you do not need to be a master coder, you only need one thing, and it's something you already have. You just need to be curious. That's it. You just need the desire to ask questions. So as we come to the end, I'll leave you with a simple question to think about. Now that you know it's actually possible to have a real conversation with data, what is the very first question that you are going to ask?